Hello, boys. I, Dr. Pradeep Kumar Srivastava. Welcome to all of you in my water resources engineering class. Today's topic is the catchment area and runoff. Dear boys, what is the first we will discuss today on two topics. First, what is the catchment area and what is the runoff? So, when there you are residing, where there is the agriculture field or which area the rain is falling. So entire area like this, see this. Suppose, my dear boy, this is a mountain, this is mountain. So entire these area, dear boy, these area. What is these area? Entire this area. This is second area. Okay. And this is, my dear boy, third. So this is the entire this area water of the rainfall. It has come in river, through nala, through any slough. So this area is called catchment area. And how much water has been stored, that is enough. Clear? So let us start. We will study on this topic. Why? A catchment area is the area from which a location such as city, service or institution attract a population that use its services and economic opportunities. Catchment area may be defined based on from where people are naturally. So, drawn to a location, for example, liver catchment area, and established by the governor or organization for the provision of services. Government or community service organized often define catchment. So area for planning purpose and public safety, such as ensuring universal access to service like the public department, available waste and hospital, In the business, a catchment area is used to describe the building from which a retail location draw it the customers, airport, catchment area can inform, afford to estimate route and route profitability. Now, catchment area can be defined relative to the location and based from a number of the factors, including distance, travel, time, and geographic boundary or population with the catchment. Catchment area generally fall under two categories and those that occur generally, that is de facto catchment are as people and are naturally drawn are location and roads there are established and modified by the titles such as the government of the organization. Catchment area boundary can be modified under geographic information system GIS and then can be large variability in the service group within differ catchment in the same area depending upon how it's woven and it is the can be large variability in the service provided within the different catchment in the same area depending upon the how and when those catchment more established. They are usually contiguous but can develop when they use computing services. So GIS technology has allowed for the modeling of the catchment area and in particular those relating to urban area based on the travel time between rural area and the city of the different size and the urban rural catchment area URCAS is a global GIS. Uh, so global system. So GIS data set that allow for the comparison across country and such as the distribution of the population along the rural urban contribution. When combined with the hospital data, catchment area can be then the epidemiological disease border or the forecast hospital need made adjust to the outbreak. Now run off. You have seen what is the catchment area. Now we will discuss on the runoff. Runoff is the hydrology, the quantity of water discharged in the surface stream runoff. And now water the travel even Also interflow. The water infiltrates the soil surface, so travels by the mean of the gravity award and toward a system. So channel always above and mean around the water level and eventually empties into the channel and runoff also include groundwater and that is discharged to stream and the stream flow that we cannot compose or inherently of the groundwater is a term options that the flow of air flow and weather runoff occurs where the stream of the channel intersect the water table. Surface runoff, also known as overland. So how is the flow of water occurring on the ground surface when excess rainwater and storm water. So rainwater or other horses can be longer efficiency and rapidity infiltrate in the soil. So this can occur there. Our soil is treated by the water and its full capacity and stand train services more quickly than the supply and then the supply. About the surface run of the occurs. So because in various area such as the roofs and pavement to allow wallet to do the hook into the ground and fall run. So down into the ground to fall or therefore runoff can occur either through natural or main idea is the process. Surface runoff is a measure of the complaint of the water cycle and it is the primary agent of the soil erosion and by water and the land area including runoff and a drain to common point is called a drainage basin and runoff that occurs on the ground surface before reaching a general can be one point. General so runoff include the probably I so I it is the primary cause of the urban flooding, so which can be result in the property damage and cause of the mold. Mold is the parameter and the street flooding. Surface runoff can be generated either by the rainfall, is how snow wall for the meeting snow for the glacier. So snow and glacier will be immediately typically. So segment will be desk in the movement and it will be sound to maximize the device. So it is the determined vector going on the rate and meaning and it is same. The referring factor of the rate of the melting of the snow or glacier, as a both, are both, and when you have removed the apparatus, so mountain region and streams frequently used for the many days and the fall of the cloudy ones of the person. In area where are no snow runoff come from the rainfall, and however, not at rainfall will be produced runoff because storm swell, storm. A Australia and Southern Africa protected route with their exactly days. The outward route, and it is a denied network. So root parts are can be absorbed so much rainwater as to prevent runoff even when the subcritical homo towns and the rainfall in the region, even the less like for the cracking day soil, and how enormous of rainfall and potential are. So in this region, even has been interlaced cracking the day and source silencing account we not go only. Now this is the run off. Runoff can be defined as the portion of the precipitation to make its way towards river or ocean and the surface of the subsurface. How subsurface can be generated either the rainfall and glacier rainfall is the portion of the rainfall of irrigation. So rainfall duration, water which lead to field other the subsurface or subsurface flow. The portion of rainfall which is satisfied and rainfall and continued at rate of the rainfall intensity in the greater than multiplication rate. Subsurface runoff. Base flow, it is the delay flow and find at the part of the rainfall which after the failing on the ground on the surface and infrared into the soil of the seed to the water table and flow the resume ocean. It's the talos of the total runoff. So total runoff is equal to surface runoff plus GW base flow. The process of runoff. The process of runoff generation continuous as a long rainfall intensity and exceeds the actual of filtration capacity of the soil, but it is the shop of as soon as the rate of the rainfall recording. Now runoff made volume from an area the mainly so are eliminated by the following two factors: agmatic motors and physiographic fracture. Now detection of the drilling wind. Actually, the direction of the prevailing wind the same as the drainage stream, and a man moving in the direction of the stream slope and produce a higher a bank and period of the time to time moving the pupil direction. Now other climate factors. Other climate factors such as the temperature of the wind velocity and relative humidity, annual rainfall, and effect of the water losses from the watershed area. So emerge watershed, emerge watershed. A large watershed task longer time to divine and the run of the cut outlet than smaller watershed and ice versa. Shape of watershed. So run of the greatly affected by the shape of watershed. So shape of the watershed is generally exceeded by the turn from fracture and component of friction. And the ratio of the parameter is what said the conformation of the circle, those whose area is two type of shape. Now slope of watershed. So it has a complex effect in the source of the sign of the land use. Land use and land management of practice have a great an effect on the runoff yield, and that is area with the forest cover of the thing and layer much of the leaf and gnam and grasses contribute and less runoff because water is absorbed more into soil. Soil moisture. Magnitude of the runoff yield depend upon the initial, essential, soil moisture. Now soil moisture. Magnitude of the runoff the dike depend upon the metal, and the procedure present in the soil the time of the rainfall. If the rain occur after a long the spell of the restriction, rate per hence equilibrate less runoff. So soil tape, so filtration, we are very tapping soil, so runoff is the great affected by the soil type. Now topographic characteristic, so include those topographic action and undulating land has a greater runoff and has flat land. So this is the drainage density. It is defined to ratio of the total channel length, and J is the watershed to avail the watershed area, and greater they will be small. Now upstream reservoir of the mark, so groundwater the storage in the dependent aquifer. So measurement, river discharge, the volume flow, the river, showing the river cross section, the reaches of the most important angle, hydrology, quantity, and measurement of the river discharge are required for the flood hazard management and water resources planning, climate and geology. So my storage can be compliant with thumbs by the uh, understanding the information is essential for the many important uses. Across a broad range of the scale, including the global water balance and it is the broad range scale, including the global water balance, engineering, design, flood, foreseeing reservoir, so operation, investigation, flood, operation. First, the discharge is given. A stream is related to the elevation of the water surface age and through a series of the careful measurement. So in the next step, the state of the stream is absorbed routinely and the creativity of the experience manner and the discharge is stemmed by using the previously determined state and discharge relationship. To be observation, the state it is the EG expressive and desired to the contours regarding can also be obtained. The method of the discharge determined of the stream and so stream gauging is the technique used to measurement the volume of the water flowing through the annual and the per unit, generally referred to the unit discharge. And the discharge determined to the relationship between despite the and the between of stream velocity and channel area. Now qualifying the relationship between these unvariables. So allow continuous the record of the displays to be dispensed. And the first step toward that is the measurement of the stage. And a stage describes the depth and at a good depth of the channel, and it is qualified that the work is refined and lying above the arbitrary total. Stage measurement and rating curve. Now we will discuss about this matter. So stage describe the depth of the water and within a channel and qualified of the height of water and gauging site above the arbitrary total. The velocity area method, the most common and direct method of the estimating discharge the velocity area and method. This technique queries measurement of the stream velocity channel and which and it will be depth of the water and the measurement of the velocity of the river with a ship and using the instrument search a current meter. This is the current meter and now hydrograph. Hydrograph is a graph displaying some property of the water flow and such as the state that is the water level and discharge velocity, etc. various time. For displaying runoff characteristic on the watershed and the hydrograph is the one of discharge cubic feet per second and various time hours. So one it is the present watershed runoff the certain point in the flow and in fluid. So method available are measuring the discharge float method. The method technique, the measurement and the calculation. So the cross sectional area of the channel as well as the time it is asked to the object and to fit out the designated distance. Estimated the cross sectional area of the channel and to determine the velocity of the discharge mark of the 825 to 100 foot along the location channel. The channel is the process new section. Now determine the runoff coefficient. So the run-off coefficient from the individual run storm is the defined and runoff divided by the corresponding rainfall, and both express the depth of over catchment area. Now runoff. Yes, now runoff calculators the percentage of rainfall that appear as storm water run off from the surface is called the uh, runoff coefficient. The runoff coefficient of the rough area. So, depending upon the oil type of the rainfall intensity, the runoff coefficient from the previous area and could be low, the runoff all the floor rainfall intensity and sandy soil up to 80% of the high rainfall and heavy clay. You need to know the run of the coefficient to the side to the storm water discharge system on the site. So effect of the surface runoff. So erosion, the deposition surface runoff can be caused the erosion of the earth surface, and eroded material may be deposited the considered distance away. Effect of the surface runoff. If foreseen, erosion, the deposition surface runoff can cause the erosion of the earth's surface and eroded material, so may be deposited in the considerable distance away. The principal environment issue associated with the runoff, the impact to the surface water, groundwater and soil throughout transport of the water pollute to the system. And agricultural issues. The transport of the agriculture, chemical and minerals, phosphates, pesticide, uh, herbicides via surface runoff. The resulting contaminated runoff reported not only if waste agriculture chemical, but also an environmental that is to downstream uh, downstream okay system. Now floating. The floating occurs when here water course is unable to enjoy the surface. Food can be both vertical and suicide of the cars. Damage. So importance of the runoff. Water balance calculation, irrigation, scheduling, the magnitude of the flood flows to enable safe disposal on the excess flow, and the minimum flow of the quantity of low available various season. And the interaction of the flood have hydraulic Structures such as brewery, reservoir, barrage, and bridge, and river engineering, highway engineering, flood control, and the control, and now hydrograph. It is a graph showing the rate of the flow discharge various time passed at a specific point in a area. It is a graph showing the rate of flow discharge. So various time past a specific point in the river or other the channel of the conduit carrying flow. It can also refer to a graph showing the volume of the water reaching the particular outfall. Graphs are commonly used in the design of the software, more specified the design of this surface water and sewer. Now, rising limb. The rising limb of the hydrograph, also known as the concentration of curve, so reflect a prolonged increase the discharge from the catchment area and typically in the response to rainfall event. Now we will discuss on the surface runoff process, how we will measure the runoff. So as the rain, continuous water reaching the ground surface and floods into the soil until they reach a stage where the rate of rainfall intensity exceeds the infiltration capacity of the soil and tear off the surface utils that detect and other depression are filled with water depression storage and after that overhead over the iron off in the generator. So it is the process. The process of runoff generation continuous and long as the rainfall intensity exceeds actual infiltration capacity of the soil, but it is stopped at the soon at the rate of rainfall drop below the actual rate of infiltration. Factor affecting rainfall, runoff rate and volume from an area are mainly influenced by the following two factors: a climate factor and physiographical factor. So climate factor, we will discuss about that. A rainfall characteristic and type of perspiration. So it has great effect on the runoff, that is a precipitation which occurs in the form of rainfall start immediately in the surface runoff depending upon the rainfall intensity, while precipitation in the form snow does not result in the surface. So rainfall intensity. Now in the rainfall intensity is greater than infiltration rate of the soil, then runoff rate immediately after rainfall. So while in the case of low rainfall intensity, rainfall start. Thus, high intensity of the rainfall yield higher runoff and duration of rainfall. So it is directly related to the volume of the rainfall because in the filtration rate of the soil decrease with duration of the rainfall. Now, tier 4 medium intensity rainfall even result in the considerable amount of rainfall if duration is longer. Rainfall distribution. So runoff from the watershed depend very much on the distribution of rainfall. It is also expressed in the distribution coefficient and near the outlet of the watershed runoff will be more and direction of the prevailing wind. So it is the direction of prevailing wind the same as the drainage system and it result it is peak low a system moving due to direction of the streams slope and produce a longer peak in a shorter period of the time than a star moving of the opposite direction. And next, other climate factor. Other factor such as temperature, wind velocity, relative humidity, annual rainfall affect the water loss from watershed area. And physiographic factor, the size of watershed. So, so large watershed take longer time for the drainage of runoff to outlet than smaller watershed, vice versa. And shape of watershed. So runoff is greatly affected by shape of watershed. And shape of watershed is generally expressed of the term from factor and a competent coefficient from factor is equal to ratio to varied width to action length of the watershed. Now competence coefficient. So ratio of the parameter of the watershed to circumference of the circle whose area equal to the area of the watershed. Two type of shape. So fan shape tend to the produce higher runoff very yearly. So dear boy, now you have read this matter at the concerned topic. Now you are requested to reply, give the MCQ. And now question number 1. A multi-purpose reservoir is the one which is There is 4 answer looking on your screen, and you are requested to give the reply, which is the correct answer. So correct answer is B. And planned and constructed to serve various purposes. A rain gauge should be preferable to be fixed. Where it will be fixed? Yes, correct answer is C, in the open space. And next question, a repelling ground, the sign pointing upstream. So which is the correct answer? Correct answer is A, pointing upstream. And a hydroelectric scheme preparing under the head of 80-meter well. So which, how it is classified? We can classify via high head scheme. It is the correct answer, C. Now a heterograph is a graphical representation of correct answer is A, rainfall intensity and time. And next question is a land is known as the waterlogged, and when, and which is the correct answer? Yes, correct answer is C, capillary free, which is the root zone of the plant. Now, next question is 70% index of the wetness means it means rain deficiency of 30%. Correct answer is B. And now a deep well, how we will derive? Which is the correct answer? Correct answer is B. Has more discharge than a shallow well. And the current meter is used to the measure the, where we use that, we use that velocity of flow of water to measure. Correct answer is A. And a divide wall is provided. Where is provided? As at right angle of the axis of Vihar. Correct answer is A. And this is the references. And this is the reference book. This is the reference of web also. This is the reference books. And this is also reference of the web. And thank you very much for taking interest in my class. You are most welcome in my next class. That is tomorrow.